Kia.
Yeah. Oh, bye. Okay, so if we can just have those apologies read out again, please.
So the apologies I've received from Molly Para, Peter Brown, Jim Green, Ariana Roberts, Tomai Higgins, and Ngā Raihania for lateness.
Bye. Thank you.
I just saw an email come through from Rani that he tried the Zoom link. He's about to jump in with this current Zoom link. He's trying to get in at the moment.
Okay, so he's trying to link in.
Yep.
Come on. Hopefully then he comes through. No, that's good. Okay, so are there any interests that Te Waiora or Nukutaimemeha members have to the agenda that you want to declare at this stage? Ka pai.
Just my ongoing involvement with Tūranga Health as a director.
Waiora. Ka pai. Right, so the previous minutes you've all read and approve. Are there any amendments to those minutes? You don't want to go, we won't go through them. Just, if you've got amendments, let us know now. Any corrections to the minutes, and if there's no corrections, any matters arising that isn't already on the agenda item. Okay, I did tonu. Action items. I didn't see the action items. Was there an action item page?
No, we didn't have any action items from the last week. And we'd actually closed down all the 2021 action items.
Yep, I did see that. Okay, we go into Jim's report on page 9. He gave a verbal report and it's recorded here. Any comment to Jim's report?
I have no comment.
Okay.
Low. I think in lieu of Jim not being able to come here, I don't think he's giving the verbal report anymore. Yeah, unless Ian, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I can give a verbal report on the COVID in Tairāwhiti. An update of the presentation is submitted. I've got an updated version of that they wanted me to run through. Chair, if you want.
Thank you, Ian, that'll be nice.
Okay, I just need to share my screen. Hopefully I can do this.
Yep.
Oh, done. So this is the update. So what we're seeing at this moment in time is that we are past the peak. I believe there was just over 60 cases reported yesterday. So we're coming down and we expect to see this continue for the next period. And this is the cases by the age group, and you can see it's largely, the reported cases have largely been in the younger population. By ethnicity, I believe that this graph, the reported cases, reflects our population somewhat, with the exception of Pacifica, who seem to have been more significantly impacted with cases reported than they're reflected in the population. By sex, women are more likely to report than men for some reason. This is the modelling of the cases. And as you can see, the number of cases is higher than the modelling forecast. We now believe that we know that 20% of our population has reported COVID, but we expect this number to actually have been around the 40% level of people within the district have had COVID at this time. And you can see here that the lag is actually slower than has been predicted by most of the modelling. This is the modelling nationally, and you can see the modelling is more reflective of the case counts than it is locally. What is fortunate is the number of reported beds, people admitted with COVID, has been well under the modelling projections. So while we've seen the high model for cases, we have been below the low modelling for hospitalizations, which reflects the good social behaviours that we've seen in the community to stop the spread and to seek help where appropriate. This is a 7-day average per 100,000 against the states in Australia. And you can see, note that the timeline is against the New Zealand outbreak. And these are the dates of the Australian outbreak where they start at 0. You can see that while we have had a peak that's somewhat higher than some Australian states, New South Wales and Victoria are higher than we've seen. But we are actually seeing a slower tail, which reflects more contagion that we've seen within the community than has been seen in the Australian states. What's also noticeable is that each of the states has seen an uptake in a second wave coming sometime for us in the next month to 6 weeks. We can expect to see somewhat of a tail. How we're doing against the international. This is Australian in that teal colour. You can see the Hong Kong rate, South Korea, the numbers. This is somewhat reflective of the access to rat testing or other diagnostic testing, with the UK, for example, not having as much access as we've got here. So we don't know what the real rate is. What is really positive here so far has been the fatality rates per million. We are well below any of the Australian states at this stage and well on track. And this is just a glance at our vaccinations. With vaccination continuing, we're seeing slower numbers, but our vaccination rates are still good. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ian. Any comment to Ian? I have one, Ian. In our local graph, have we got a split there for the East Coast?
No, we've had some difficulties with the geographic spread of data within Tairāwhiti. We continue to work on it. We do have some semblance that shows it is across the district, but the actual rates per area we haven't been able to do yet because there's a lot of noise in there with people with multiple addresses and some of the addressing details not mapping correctly. But it is something that we continue to work on.
Thank you. Thank you. Now that would be good. Good information. Okay, so, thank you, Ian, for that. Can we move on then? We've got no queries to Ian. So we're up to the. I'm just scrolling up the board papers. The Diabetes Action Plan. Am I correct there? We're on to Peter Brown's.
So Peter, Peter didn't hasn't submitted a report this month either, but he has actually asked that the Diabetes Action Plan be put to the committee.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an information item. And if there's any comment, please. Peter has asked for feedback regarding the draft strategy.
Yeah, those stats are very concerning. And very sobering too when you look at the statistics.
Yep. Agree.
Just while we've got a moment, I just got a reply from Whiti, who I text to see if she was joining us. She informs me that she has put her apologies in.
Oh, okay.
So if they can be recorded, please.
Yes, we'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Molly had her comments were around looking at diet for diabetes and encouraging some form of community action around, I guess it was using sort of celebrities to encourage people to eat well, and providing recipes and ways of providing food to whānau with diabetes that was healthy.
Thank you, Molly. Yes. Thank you. Champions, eh? We need champions out there.
Yeah.
This is a fairly sensitive subject because at the end of the day, it really comes down to people's choices.
Yeah.
And lifestyle choices. This is diabetes type 2. Lifestyle choices. And lifestyle choices aren't always changed with providing healthy alternatives. People need to want to be involved in that in order for it to be effective. So sometimes habits are so ingrained in people in terms of their addictions to sugar or whatever it may be, which is the leading sort of reason why they have diabetes in the first place. And I say that it's sensitive because, you know, a lot of people, and you can't blame them, they don't want their choices interfered with. But at the end of the day, if their choices are giving them diabetes, well, we have to do all that we can to try and help them from that situation.
Yeah. Yep. No, you're correct, Jata. It's also about poverty. It is the cheap food that is the nasty, sugar-loaded, non-nutritious stuff that becomes a first choice in purchasing because of the price.
Molly's just sent another comment around, and I guess it is around that lifestyle choices. So actually including kai that is commonly eaten. So kina and parango and those sorts of things, and actually having recipes and things that include those foods rather than exclude them.
Well, maybe it's another step too in terms of rather than looking at the shopping list, look at what the growing list can be. What can we grow in the backyard? Can we teach people to start doing that again, to start their own gardening? When I was brought up, we always had a garden. And, you know, anything that you eat out of your own garden would have to be good for you. It's teaching those old skills, really, at the end of the day, and how those old sort of ways have a positive impact on lifestyle and health.
Correct. Any other comments? And thank you, Molly, for sending in your comments there?
I have no further comments, Auntie Lo.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on. And actually, we've finished what's on the agenda for our open meeting, because I see the next paper is the in committee agenda. Am I correct? Look, because I haven't got a agenda beside me, hard copy, and I don't know how to split my screen. I'm just following up through our package. So, correct?
That's correct, Auntie Lo.
Okay, so now then it's about going into in committee, and therefore the live streaming